Hi everybody. This is a video lecture condensing this week's material for a little bit more extra learning if you need it. Basically, I'm going to take all the work that is in our module and talk about it a little bit, and hopefully between that, your ebook readings and your tone savvy exercises, everything will be fine. So what I want to show you is this week, as we begin week 4, what are we going to cover? Well, we're going to cover how we name notes on the keyboard. We kind of already know that, but then we're going to look at half steps, whole steps, accidentals, and it's all kind of focused on the keyboard, where these things are on the keyboard. So let's start with a discussion of whole and half steps. So here's our keyboard. Now, when we study music, these are our first building blocks that we're going for. Whole steps and half steps. Now, in music, a whole step, if you look at this, the piano keyboard, and this happens to be the letter A, and that's B. Why is that A? Because there's C. C, D, E, F, G, A. So this is an A, this is a B. We call this distance of sound a whole step because between this tone and this tone, we have something else. There's another tone in there. Okay, you'll hear these in a second. So this is another whole step because between this black key, this tone, and this tone, this C, we have something in between. So a whole step is the distance between two tones with one tone in between. The half step is the distance between two tones. Here's the tone, E, see, C, D, E, and here's another tone, F. Between these two tones, that's a smaller distance. That's a half step. Here's another half step between C and D. Now let me show you what these sound like. Here's our keyboard. Here's a whole step. Do, re. See that? Now here's a half step. Listen to this sound. Let's start over here. If we go a whole step up, we got to go here. Do, re. Okay, now a half step up is, see, that's a half step. Now if you were to sing these two tones, ah, ah, and now you sing this one, the voice is barely moving. Ah, ah. So here's a whole step up. Here's a whole step down. Ah. Here's a half step up. Here's a half step down. Okay, and let's do one more set of whole steps and half step. Let's start here. A whole step above F. Half step above F. Whole step below F. Half step below F. Okay, so that is our whole steps and half steps. I recommend, if you can, go to this onlinepianist.com if you do not have a keyboard. If you do have a keyboard, you can experiment and just practice. Just pick some random tones and just see if you can hear whole steps and half steps. Remember, they can move either direction. You can go down a half step, go down a whole step. So like with all things, I recommend you practice, and this is a good way to practice on that. Now, as you notice on this keyboard, we've got white keys, which you're familiar with by now, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And we have the black keys, all right? So now we move into what we are calling enharmonics, and it's going to kind of focus on a combination of learning the white keys and the black keys, as well as understanding these whole steps and half steps. Now, some of you might already be familiar with some of this stuff, but these crazy things are called accidentals, all right? So, for instance, an accidental of a sharp moves a tone up a half step. So if this is F, we can go up to F sharp. See how it goes up? So if we look at a keyboard, here's F. Now we go up a half step, F sharp. I could do it from here, D, up to D sharp, or C, up to C sharp. All right? So going back to here, here's an example. C goes up to C sharp, D goes up to D sharp. Here's E. Now a lot of people think that the sharps and flats, they gotta be black keys. No, because here I'm on E and I go up a half step to E sharp. See? Let's see. C, you can't see it here because it would continue C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then C. But C, see the B sharp there? If B goes up a half step, then it's B sharp. Okay, so that's sharp. Flat takes a tone and moves it down. Imagine your tire going flat. It moves down. So we can take a tone like this tone E and go down to E flat. We can take this tone A and go down a half step to A flat. We can take this tone F and go down a half step to F flat. So on the keyboard, we would have E, E flat, D, D flat, B, B flat, and let's say F, F flat. Okay. Now right now a lot of students are going, wait a second, I thought that's an E. It is an E. It's also F flat. We'll get into that in a second. All right, so going back up here, whoops, going back over here. Now we see some other crazy accidentals. And again, accidentals change those normal letters and they change the tone. They move them up or down. We got something here that looks like two flats. Well, that's a double. It's called double flat. So what a double does, if a flat moves the tone down a half step, a double flat moves the tone down two half steps. So this is G. If I go down one half step, I'm on G flat. Go down one more half step, I'm on G double flat. Okay? Here's E. If I go down one half step, I'm on E flat. And then I go down one more half step to E double flat. This crazy looking X, see that X, that's a way of saying double sharp. So a sharp moves a tone up a half step, a double sharp moves it up two half steps. So here's a C. Go up one half step, we're on C sharp. Let's go up one more half step, C double sharp. Now right now most of you are saying, wait a second, I'm so confused. I thought that's D. Yes, this key is D, but you can also call it C double sharp because it's C raised twice. You can also call this key, this sound, E double flat because it's E lowered twice. And that's what enharmonics is. Enharmonics is the idea that any tone, you can call it three different names. And basically it depends upon context, okay? And I'll pull one of those out. I'll show you one of those in a second. So going to the keyboard again, let's do a little bit of some stuff. If I say go up a half step to F sharp, there we go. If I'm on G and I say go down a half step to G flat, see, this tone is F sharp, and at the same time is G flat. It also has one other name. It could be E double sharp. Here's E sharp, here's E double sharp because I moved it twice. Okay, so practically every key on the keyboard has 3 different names, and it's all about context. Let me see if I can show you what I mean by that. Go over here. You get a chance to see some of the stuff that's coming up. All right, here's some major scales. All right, we'll be getting to that the week after this, but let's take a look at this. In a D major scale, this means all F's are sharp, all C's are sharp. That's what sharp looks like. Here's D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. That's a C sharp, D. See, all F's and C's are sharp. So D major scale goes D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. What does that look like on the piano? D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Now this guy we're calling F sharp. We don't call it G flat. See, that's G flat. We don't call it G flat because the scale's a ladder. So we have to go letter to letter. D, E, F sharp. We don't say D, E, G flat. Okay? But if you look at our charts, see, we got D, E, F sharp. Look at a different scale. Here's the D flat scale. We have a D flat, E flat, F, G flat. This G flat is the exact same tone as this F sharp. It's the same. But yet, in this context, we want this sound to be called F sharp. And in this context, we want the sound to be called G flat. So here's it is again, D scale, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. In the different context, D flat, E flat, F, G flat. So in a D major scale, this tone needs to be called F sharp, but in a D flat major scale, this tone needs to be called G flat. And things are always going to change according to what we're working on with scales or chords or any other number of things which you will learn as we move forward into the semester. Okay, so going back to our stuff. All right, let's try a few things, and let us go to the piano. And I'm going to throw you out a question and see if you can answer it at home. We'll do a few. What is a whole step above C sharp? Here's C sharp, well, C, and then we got D sharp. C sharp, D sharp. What's a half step above C sharp? C sharp, D. What is a whole step above A flat? A flat, now go whole step, B flat. Okay. We could say a half step above A flat. You could say two things. A half step above A flat is A. Or you could say a half step above A flat is B double flat. Why B double flat? Because it's B lowered twice. So let's talk about enharmonics, because something you're going to see in your homework this week is what is the enharmonic of this? So let's do some enharmonics. What note is enharmonic, which means what other name can you give it? With B. Think about that. Now, if you need to, you can look at the chart that you had. The chart was here. You could look at this. It's also in your book. But let's see if we can do it without. What else can we call B? You could call it C flat, C, because C going down. You could also call it what? You could call it A double sharp. See, so this note has three names: B, C flat, and A double sharp. It all depends on what context we're ultimately going to be in. Let's do one more enharmonic. Here's an F sharp. What else can we call F sharp? You could call F sharp G flat. You could also call it E double sharp. All right. Okay, so that is, again, we're just doing a condensed lecture, the enharmonics. Now, the other part of the lecture today is I'm going to condense the how to read alto and tenor clefs. These are other clefs that are out there in the world. They exist. And especially if you go into music education, you're going to see a lot of these because your string players and other orchestra instruments use these a lot. Now, they look alike, okay? But the alto clef is here, see, centered on the middle line, and the tenor clef is here on the fourth line, okay? Basically, the treble clef was a fancy G, the bass clef was a fancy F, the tenor clef and alto clef is a fancy C. Way back when, this used to be a C. And this indicates that this is middle C. See, there's middle C right there. All right, so this kind of shows you. You can figure all the other notes from there. Now, this doesn't have a cool, every good bird does fly, all cows eat grass. If you wanted, I guess you could make one up. But all you need to know is this is C. And then you can figure out all the other letters of the alphabet from there. Now, you've got a tone savvy homework, and I'll pull it up right now. And again, I always encourage that you practice, explore. Oh, let's see. Do they have a... There we go. Let's practice some tenor. No ledger lines. All right, there we go. This is the tenor clef. Fourth line is C. That's C. And to be more specific, that's middle C. Okay, now, what is this one? If this was treble clef, it would be an F. But it's not, so let's figure it out. C, B, A, G, F, E. Okay, what's this one? C, because we know that's C. C, B, that line is A, G. So this homework should be pretty easy. You can take your time with it. If this is C, that's B. Okay, now let's try a little alto clef. Let's see. All right, this is C. See, that's C. So this must be right below C, B. There's C, specifically middle C. Okay, this is C, which means this space is B, which means that's A. And one more. C, B, A, G. Okay, so that's how to read the class. As far as this class is concerned, I'll spend most of the time on the treble and bass. That is primarily it, but you should also be aware of the basics of reading alto and tenor clef. So let's take a look again at our module. Again, this is a condensed lecture, whole and half steps, the enharmonics. The other thing that you'll have this week is some more, let's talk about the homework, just more practice on ledger lines, more practice on pace notes. Again, the ability to just instantly recognize. So we're going to do that. You can practice those on your own. Piano keys. Let's take a look at what the piano keys is. This is new. And gonna go over here, piano keys. Now over here, what we're gonna do is not only do you have to recognize what this note is, but you have to find it on the piano. All right. So this combines a few different concepts. We look at this and say, wow, what is that? It's past the ledger line. This is F. Every good bird does fly. So this is F, which means this is G, which means the line is A, which means that's B. So that's a B. The problem is we have a B here. Why is that B? C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So B is right before C starts. So that's B, and that's B, and that's B, and that's B. So the question is, where is this B? Well, it can't be that one because that B is right next to middle C. Middle C is here. It can't be this B because this B is the next one above middle C, which would be here. See, that's a B. Every good bird. So that must mean that this B is the one way up here. I got it right. Now we look at this note. Here's our accidental. That's a flat. So this note is E flat. All right, and it's in the bass clef, so we know it's low. So there's a lot of E flats. This is E flat. This is E flat. This is E flat. And this is E flat. So the question is, where is this E flat? Well, middle C is here, which means this E flat is the one right below middle C. Here's middle C, C, B, A, G, F, E, flat. Where's this F? That's an F. Every good bird does fly. That's F. Here's F. Here's F. Here's F. Here's F. Which F is this? Well, if you want to talk about the specific octaves, remember last week this is F4, which means this is F5. Okay. F4 would be right here. C, D, E, F, right above middle C. That's even higher. So that F is here. Okay, that is a D flat. This is easy because middle C is right here. So it's right next to middle C. Here's D flat. And this, let's do one more. This is a G flat. Well, there's lots of G flats. Here's G flat, G flat, G flat, G flat. Where is this G flat? Well, here's middle C. It's going to be low. So middle C, this is G flat below middle C. You can say, okay, G flat, that's below middle C. Yeah, but this one I'm pointing at is here. That G flat would be right below middle C. This is even lower. So it's not this G flat, it's this G flat. So that's your exercise for this. Oh, and this G flat is way up here. Okay, so let's do one sharp. That's middle C, sharp. All right, and the only other new exercise for you this week, I shouldn't say new, it's continued rhythm performance practice. So let me just do a couple of these things for you. And let's take a look at it. Rhythm performance. We're going to keep it pretty easy. Continued practice. If you practice, take out the ties. All right, we're going to do this. 2, 3, here we go. Click, 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 click. Okay, now let's look at this rhythm. How does this rhythm move? It goes 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Again, we're going to count to 4. 1, 2, 3. That's a half note. It gets 2 beats. So this gets beat 2 and 3, right? It's just going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, beat 1 got split into 2, 1 and. Beat 2 got split into 2, 2 and. We don't split 3, but we split beat 4, 4 and. So this measure, that's measure 1, this measure 2, this measure goes 1 and, 2 and, 3, 4 and. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Let's hear it. 2, 3, 4. I think I can play that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. And of course I'm tapping my mouse pad. All right, this looks pretty easy. Half note gets 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4 and. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's hear it. 1, 2, 3, 4 and. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I can tap that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do one more. Let's look at it. Now, a lot of students would go 1, 1, 2. You're counting to 4. 1, 2, 3. This gets beat 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4 and. Let's just do it without the tapping, without the hint. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4 and. And let's do one more because these are kind of fun. If we're just counting to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, beat 1 got split into 2, and beat 4 got split into 2. This is 1 and 2, 3, 4 and. Here, beat 2 got split into 2, 2 and. And this guy gets beat 3 and beat 4. It got 2 beats. How does this sound? 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4 and. 1, 2 and 3. I think I can tap that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4 and. 1, 2 and 3, 4. So if you can navigate these exercises successfully, it demonstrates to me that you can read rhythms. So again, that is a little condensation of week 4. There's all your homework, and you guys can start this right away on Monday, Labor Day, if you'd like. All right, so enjoy your Labor Day weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.